Hello, participants of the Thrive Conference. Yes, I'm very happy to be part of this discussion because I see this conference to be very, very important, very seasonal in the world that we are in. Yes, I had to discover my potential, I would say, in, should I say, a hard way, not really a very smooth way, because I had to discover the potentials one step at a time. And this is because I am from a very humble family, if I may put it that way. And then growing up, I had a very small world around me. But what I remember clearly is that I liked to discover things. So the things I didn't know, I wanted to discover them. And the things I got to know, I wanted to teach or share with others. So going to school, in those days, was not very smooth and practical as we see today. If I look at the generation ahead of me, schooling for girls was really restricted. Just a few of, I'll say, my mothers and aunties got a chance to go to school. Thankfully, I belong to the next generation where it had become clear that girls could go to school, but that was still limited. Fortunately for me, I was branded brilliant. So that made the schooling very smooth and natural for me because I can talk about my cousins who had to, stop along the line to be family members. But I had the potential to keep moving, and that helped me a lot. Now, as I was in school in those days, I went through the what we call the long process, the old school type, which was the ordinary level and the advanced level. And at the ordinary level, what I remember is that we all entered the secondary school, and then we were all in the same class doing the same things. And in Form 3, we were split into arts, business, and science. And I remember in my class, science class, we were four, just four girls in that class. So that motivated me to know that. So you see, the four was like the selected few out of, I think, around 120 girls that were in my year group. So that was motivating enough for me. Now I finished the O level, and in those days, if you wanted to go to the university, you needed to advance to the advanced level. From the ordinary level, you could go to training college, teacher training, nursing training, but if you wanted to enter into the university, you had to go through the advanced level, which was 2 years. So I went through, and after the 2 years, in those days again, we needed to do a first national service. So I would say I was lucky to be posted into a secondary school. And that unleashed my potential because I was given the chance to teach core maths, which was my best subject in the secondary school. So just by having the chance to teach core maths, I realized that, yes, I would be able to meet my dream in academia. Now, at that point, I said earlier on that it was a step at a time. So at that point, because of still my small world, I told myself, if I'm enjoying teaching at the secondary school, and it takes a first degree to teach in the secondary school, let me go to the university, get my first degree, then I'll come back and teach in the secondary school. So I got admission to the university, but that was engineering program, metallurgical engineering at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And whilst moving through the program, I had a chance to go on attachment because I'm a mineral processor. I had a chance to be on attachment in the mining companies. So I got to know what the working in mining company really entailed. But as I was finishing, I had the chance to do my national service in a mining company or in a university. And I opted to do my national service in a university. And that was University of Mines and Technology. Then it was called KNUST School of Mines. So I moved from Kumasi to Tapa to do my national service here. And during the national service, I had a chance to handle some first things. And that motivated me so much. I just loved to be in the classroom to teach. So at that time, I got to know that I needed a master's degree to teach in the university. And so immediately after my national service, I went back to KNUST to do my master's. And after that, I got employed in UMass. So that was the story or the background to getting me into the university as an academic person. Yes, so challenges. In fact, as for challenges, I see it to be part of life because every step in the way, there's one challenge or the other that I need to surmount. But I believe that that is what also shaped us into good leaders. When I started working in UMatt as a lecturer, that was in 2002, one challenge I saw was the fact that it was more like a boys' school. You know, yeah, it was difficult to see females as lecturers and females as students. I was actually the first female to be employed on full time. Yes, there was a Professor, Mrs. Rikujima, who was on part time before I became a lecturer. But as full time, I was the first to be employed in UMatt. So that alone gave me a signal that there is work to be done, you know. And because engineering was seen as a preserve of men, that is why we didn't have the females. And the number of females as students were also, the number was very small. So for me, that was a challenge that I took upon myself, that I need to work very hard. See, I usually tell females that if you want to move at par with the men, as a female, you need to work double because there are other responsibilities that females are supposed to take care of. So I just conditioned my mind that I am here to work. I conditioned my mind that diligence should be part of me. I conditioned my mind that I should work with integrity and deliver with excellence. So excellence has been a hallmark. Wherever I find myself, I look at the alternatives, the options. And if one option is better than the other, that is what I pursue, pursuing excellence. And that calls for hard work, it calls for diligence, it calls for integrity, it calls for resilience. So all these values have been motivating factors for me to come to where I am. So I started, and 4 years down the lane, I had to get my PhD. Now, as lecturers, we're supposed to have our PhD. I traveled outside to do my PhD in the US, and man, I'll tell you, it was so challenging. I went there, and for me, I was on Ghana government scholarship. So all I knew was to pursue my PhD and come back. And that was very challenging, loneliness, you know. And it was just work. I was also trying to be multidisciplinary. So moving away from my field a little to learn new things and bringing it back. And there were times I needed to go down to take courses. At the second year level, so it was really hectic. I would say this was challenging. But at the end of the day, it was handling. And it shaped me because I got to know that once you have a vision and you want to pursue it, it will take humility. Apart from hard work, it takes humility. So as a lecturer, go down, sit with second years, learn new things and apply them. So all these things have shaped my journey as I have a very simple philosophy in life. Lead with integrity, deliver with excellence. I believe that if integrity is very important to any human being, wherever you go, you will be able to thrive. And if excellence is important to you, then you will put in hard work. You will put.
Continue.
So if excellence is important, excellence is like an output, and therefore you will put in all that it takes to achieve excellence. If integrity is important to you, you know that integrity will encompass truth, so you will be truthful. Integrity will demand that you are knowledgeable, so you will seek knowledge, and all that you need to put together to be able to live that life of integrity. Also, I'm a woman of faith. I believe God so much. I'm not the type that will put things on my forehead and project, but within me, I love God. I love God so much. And I really do not want to offend God. And because I love God, I have to also love the people created by God. So these things motivate me. And there's one scripture that guides me. That is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. So I always believe that I need this supreme being to direct my path. I always believe that without that direction, I will miss the path, because the road I see that most of the time, the road can be very muddy. The road can be very rough. But because I am anchored in His mercy and I'm empowered by His grace, even when things are pushing me down, I get this empowerment to continue to move on. And I also believe that I have a charge to keep, like I've said before. A lot of people are looking up to me. Apart from maybe if I talk about Aqua Human, my own family, people are looking up to me because I am a leader, a torch bearer in my entire family, the extended family. And I am such that I don't want to gather it alone and keep it to myself so that I'm at the center, everybody needs to get to know. I rather enjoy empowering people. So there's so many people in my family that have moved up because of my influence. So many people outside of my family that have moved up and are making it in life because of my influence. And that is what makes me happy. And anytime I am challenged, I know that as for challenges, they will come. But there is always a way to go around it. When I look at people that I have mentored, that one alone motivates me to go around my challenges and keep my head high.
that I had to make bold decisions. I had to make unconventional decisions, you know. Some of these decisions are very, very personal that I may not be able to share or make it public at this point in time. But there are others I can share. For example, whilst I was in the US, there were several circumstances around me at that time that pointed to the fact that I should stay there. I shouldn't come back to Ghana. But when I was going, I went with one conviction and maybe two main, should I say, reminders. The first one was that I was on government scholarship, and the dictates of that scholarship said that I have to come back after the 4 years to work for government or in the university for 5 years. So I never forgot about that one. See, I could have just ignored and stayed, but the integrity was more important to me than whatever I should get in the US. So that was one of them. And as I said, circumstances, but I had to ignore and face my fears by coming back. I had a lot of opportunities within and even elsewhere, but not in Ghana. But I had to ignore all those things. It was really a bold decision, because in the US where I was, when you meet people, the few Africans that were there, the question usually was, after PhD, what next? And I would always say, go back to Ghana. After PhD, what next? Go back to Ghana. And so it was a bold decision that I took to get back to Ghana. When I got back, the idea was to, serve my 5 years, and after that, leave UMAT. See? And I came back in 2010, so you can imagine how many years I have spent here. After the 5 years, I did not leave. There were several reasons for me to continue to stay. I'm saying it's a bold decision because I'm not a Tapa person. The first time I lived in Tapa was my national service. So sometimes I felt like just serve the term, go back, but I took a bold decision to stay. And that bold decision, what was the foundation of it? I wanted to have that platform to motivate the young person, especially the girl child, to put a smile on that young person who thinks that all hopes are lost, on that young girl who thinks that if you are a girl, you are so limited in even decisions that you can make. So these were bold decisions that I had to take to stay. And I indeed got a platform to reach out to many young people. I also always remind myself that even though the work is difficult, I must tell you the work is really difficult and challenging. But I work harder because I know a lot of young people are looking up to me. And because of that, I do not have to fail. Young people today, I always say that probably it was easier during our time in terms of staying focused, because when I was growing up, no mobile phone, no WhatsApp, no Facebook, no, you mentioned them. I handled my first mobile phone in 2002 when I became a lecturer. You can imagine. Yes. But today, a 1-year-old already knows how to handle the phone and make calls. So there are so many distractions for the young person today. But if you flip the pen, you also see that there are so many opportunities that we didn't have. When I was in school, if I needed a textbook, any extra information, aside what the lecturer had given to me in class, I needed to walk to the library. Today, you need not do that, but you will get information. Get to the library, how many books were there? Even though we were not many, I remember engineering students were around 100. But the books were so few that somebody will go take a mathematics book, because we're all doing maybe linear algebra. So somebody will go and take the book, go and hide it in the history column, you know. So when you go, you won't find it, but that person knows that this is where the book is. So we were also very limited with respect to opportunities. Now, young people, you have all these things around you. How do you unleash your potential? I believe that it is all around you. You know, one way is this conference that you are attending. You hear from people who have made it in life. You listen to their stories, and these are supposed to shape you. You have the opportunity. You are holding your mobile phones. There are a lot of things that you can learn. So use it profitably. Don't use it to always, learn things that will not profit you. I tell people in my house, my children, I have 20 children. I tell them that if you want to watch TV every day, let's say somebody in JHS, nobody is going to examine you on how many times you watched TV in a week. But you will be examined on your mathematics notes. So these things are important. Being able to be selective. You have so much information around. Which one is adding to you? Which one is taking away from you? So the first thing I think every human being should do, now we are talking to young people, but even some of us adults, if you want to be a successful leader, the first thing is for you to know yourself. Your personality is very important. What makes you? What makes you? What are the things that build you up? What are the things that tear you down? So if you are able to know this, then the next thing is those that are your strength, you need to cultivate them. You need to grow them. And those that are weaknesses, you try to shrink them. You will not be able to do it overnight. In fact, it will take you years. But if you start early, you are able to handle it better than someone who does not start early. And your education, most of you are students. Please take your education seriously. You know that these days we talk about online lectures, and then some students will be sleeping. Some students lying on their bed when the lecture is going on, and before you realize you are snoring. These things are not going to help you. Whatever be the case, see, whatever you are doing, if you do it diligently, you will get positive results. So you are on online lecture, ask yourself whether you are being diligent with the way you are participating in the lecture. Ask yourself. I believe in asking myself questions. Ask yourself every step in the way. Ask yourself, is there any way you could do it better than the way you are doing it? If you did something yesterday and you have the opportunity to repeat it today, ask yourself what small thing that you can add to make it better for yourself. And in all these things, it is about you being able to make an impact on another person's life as a leader. If you call yourself a leader, or if you see yourself as a leader, one thing that should make you happy is how many people have I been able to touch? Okay, so you don't see leadership just as status. If you see leadership as status, you will miss it, because you will spend half of your time fighting people, trying to prove to people that I'm the leader, trying to prove to people that you cannot talk to me that way, trying to prove to people what you think they didn't do well and how you think they should behave towards you. But if you see leadership as service, okay, as service, it doesn't mean people should disrespect you, but you see it as service. You are serving others. And you are serving others doesn't mean that if I come to bed and then I have to go and fetch water for my secretary and all. No. But we work together. We work together. I have to care about what the person goes through, move beyond just the, let's say, the official things the person is doing for me. We are not to make family here, but at least from time to time, let the person know that it is not just about his output or her output to the work that you are after. You can ask about the plans of the person, and any other thing that will let the person know that you care beyond the work that the person is supposed to do for you. And then I am very much interested in mentoring. So every office that I have been, in fact, if you ask people that I have worked with, one key thing is that they know that as for excellence, the bar is high. But I don't leave them to just meet it. I make sure that the resources they need to be able to match that bar is there. Okay. And I make sure that we are working together. So I am mentoring, I am coaching, and then they also get there. Why do I do that? I believe that if I do that with the younger people or the subordinates, they get into that culture, and then they are also able to impact on other lives. At the end of the day, if we are all looking out for the other person to see how the other person can move higher, how the other person can make it in life, how the other person can make an impact, this world will be a very good, peaceful world for all of us to live. My philosophy has been lead with integrity, deliver with excellence. See, this has been a compass guiding me throughout the journey from my humble beginnings to becoming the Pro-Vice Chancellor of this great university. I believe that young people, if you go by integrity, all these social struggles, you will be able to deliver yourselves out of it. So I want you to choose integrity over all the other things. Choose excellence over all the other things. And I want to also remind you that you have a lot of opportunities ahead of you. However, there are also a lot of challenges, many things distracting you. But I want you to stay focused. Stay focused, knowing that you are born leaders, you are potential leaders, you just need to harness them. Know yourselves, know your personality, know your potential, see how you can harness it. And know that as you harness your potential, the sky will not be a limit for you. It will be a springboard that you can jump on it, you can somersault on it to higher heights. I wish you very, very well. And above all, please, there is a supreme being that we all look up to. I want to believe that you have a relationship with this supreme being. And I'll leave you with Proverbs 3, 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, every way, not some of them, acknowledge God and He will direct. I wish you very, very. Thank you.